Barcelona, a city pulsating with life, art, and a unique architectural heartbeat. And at the very core of that heartbeat, resonating through its streets and structures, is the spirit of one man, Antoni Gaudí. His buildings are not mere stone and mortar. They are dreams solidified, nature sculpted, prayers offered to the heavens. They rise like fantastical creatures from a storybook, yet they are as real, as enduring, as the Catalan sun that bathes them in light. But the man who gifted Barcelona these marvels lived a life far removed from their vibrant exuberance. It was a life marked by profound solitude, peculiar habits, and a quiet, almost tragic intensity. From his youth, Gaudí was plagued by ailments like rheumatism, a constant companion that shaped his choices and perhaps his worldview. This led him to adopt a strict vegetarian diet, primarily for health. But Gaudí's approach, like his architecture, was anything but conventional. He took it to extremes, sometimes subsisting on little more than lettuce, olive oil, and nuts. He was known for fasting, pushing his body to its limits, occasionally to the point of risking his very health. A diet born of necessity, pursued with an almost ascetic zeal. His personal life, too, he never married. There was one proposal to a woman named Pepita Moru. She turned him down. After this singular, poignant rejection, Gaudí seemed to retreat further into himself. His social life dwindled, and he poured every ounce of his being into his work, his unwavering faith, and a deepening mysticism. The vibrant city thrummed around him, but Gaudí walked a more solitary path, his mind consumed by visions others could scarcely imagine. And what are those visions? How were they received by his contemporaries? While today we stand in awe, in his own lifetime, Gaudí was a deeply divisive figure. His genius was often mistaken for madness, his innovation for eccentricity run amok. He was in many ways a man out of sync with his era, a voice singing a melody few could yet comprehend. Imagine the artistic establishment of the time, steeped in tradition, confronted with these swirling, organic forms, these explosions of color. Notable figures openly expressed their disdain. Pablo Picasso, a revolutionary in his own right, found Gaudí's style unappealing. George Orwell, with a sharp, critical eye, went even further, famously calling the Sagrada Familia one of the world's most hideous buildings. Hideous, the very structure that now draws millions in pilgrimage. It's a stark reminder that true vision often walks a lonely road, misunderstood and even ridiculed. This lack of widespread recognition, this perception of him as an oddity, followed him to his very last days. In 1926, Antoni Gaudí, the architect whose imagination was reshaping a city, was struck by a tram. Due to his shabby, almost destitute appearance, a consequence of his frugality and singular focus, he was mistaken for a beggar. He received only minimal medical attention at first. The man who built palaces and cathedrals died 3 days later, not in a grand room surrounded by admirers, but in a hospital for the poor, largely unrecognized. A tragic, almost unbelievable end for a figure of such monumental talent. But here's where the story turns, where the perceived eccentricities and the tragic end begin to reveal a different truth. Gaudí wasn't just unusual, he was profoundly, astonishingly ahead of his time. He was, in fact, a genius whose methods and vision are only now being fully appreciated. Consider his approach to materials. Decades before sustainability became a buzzword, Gaudí was a keen recycler. He famously took broken industrial tiles, ceramic shards, bits of glass, discarded waste, and transformed them into the breathtaking mosaics known as trincates. Park Güell shimmers with this technique, a testament to his ability to find beauty and utility in the overlooked. In his designs, he consciously avoided straight lines, believing that nature, his greatest muse, rarely produces them. The straight line belongs to man. He'd say the curved line belongs to God. His buildings are a symphony of curves, arches, and organic forms, flowing and evolving like living things. He wasn't just building. He was cultivating structures from the earth up. His working methods were equally unconventional. Gaudí disliked drawing detailed, two-dimensional plans. How could you capture the soul of a building on flat paper? Instead, he preferred to create intricate three-dimensional models, often using strings and weights to calculate complex load-bearing arches. He shaped and molded his ideas with his hands, a sculptural approach utterly unique among architects of his era. This profound connection to the organic, to the very essence of creation, was inextricably linked to his deep religious faith. As he aged, his devotion intensified. The last years of his life were almost entirely dedicated to his magnum opus, the Sagrada Familia. He even lived on site, a hermit architect immersed in his sacred task, earning him the nickname God's Architect. He saw his work as a form of worship, integrating religious symbolism and natural motifs so seamlessly that faith and nature became one indivisible language in his designs. This devotion was so profound that in 2015, Pope Francis declared him venerable, a significant step on the path to potential sainthood. It's fitting that Elis Rogent, the director of the Barcelona Architecture School, upon Gaudí's graduation, famously remarked, "We have given this academic title either to a fool or a genius. Time will show," and time indeed has shown. 7 of Gaudí's works, including Parc Güell, Casa Batlló, and the Sagrada Familia itself, are now UNESCO World Heritage Sites, recognized for their outstanding universal value. The Sagrada Familia, still unfinished nearly a century after his death, is now the most visited monument in Spain, a beacon attracting millions who come to marvel at its impossible beauty and spiritual depth. The man who lived in frugality, who was mistaken for a beggar, who was dismissed by some of the greatest minds of his day, has left an indelible mark on the world. Antoni Gaudí was not a fool. He was a visionary, a mystic, an innovator, and an artist of unparalleled genius. His legacy is not just in the stone and mosaic of Barcelona, but in the enduring power of a unique vision, pursued with unwavering faith against all odds. He truly was God's architect, and time has only amplified the divine music of his work.